Hello, friends. If you're like me, somewhere in that golden stretch of life past 50, where the years behind outnumber those ahead, you've probably had moments when the world feels a little quieter, a little heavier. Maybe it's the ache of missing a loved one, the slow creep of time on your body, or just that soft question in the evening. Have I lived well? What's left to let go of? These are the tender edges of our days, aren't they? The ones where wisdom isn't found in hustle, but in pausing, in stories that remind us we're not alone. I've spent the last few decades, through raising kids, building a career, and now easing into retirement, turning to the ancient teachings for that kind of comfort. Not the flashy self-help books that promise quick fixes, but the quiet, enduring wisdom of the Nikāyas, the ancient collections of the Buddha's words in the Pali Canon, like the Samyutta, Angulimāla, and Majjhima Nikāyas. These are the heart of early Buddhism, full of simple dialogues, parables, and everyday encounters that feel less like sermons and more like conversations with an old friend. Today, I want to share 4 timeless tales from these texts, stories of grief, aging, health in later years, and redemption through compassion. They're about a mother's unimaginable loss, a king's confrontation with time's march, a couple's graceful handling of illness, and a bandit's path to peace. I'll weave them with threads from our own lives, those family holidays that bring both joy and old hurts, the doctor's appointments that remind us of our fragility, or the quiet afternoons when we reflect on paths not taken. These aren't abstract lessons. They're mirrors, helping us see our struggles as part of a larger, compassionate human tapestry. As the Buddha said in the Dhammapita, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. Let's let these tales stir our thoughts toward peace. Settle in, take a deep breath, perhaps even join me in one right now, and let's walk this path together. We'll pause after each story for a moment of reflection, something small and practical to carry into your day. The first pause, a breath for reflection. Before we begin, here's a simple practice from the Nikāyas. Place your hand on your heart, feel its steady beat, and whisper inwardly, "May I meet this moment with openness." It's a tiny anchor drawn from the Buddha's teachings on mindfulness in the Satipatthana Sutta to ground us as we listen, a mother's grief and the gift of letting go. Our first story comes from the Majjhima Nikaya, the middle-length discourses in the tale of Kisa Gotamī, a simple, everyday woman whose heartbreak mirrors the losses we all face as the years unfold. And oh, how it echoes the grief many of us carried through the isolation of the COVID years, when we couldn't even hold a loved one's hand at the end. Imagine Kisa Gotamī as a young mother in a dusty village, much like a neighbor in your quiet town, perhaps the one down the street who baked pies for the block parties back in the 80s. Her little boy, her light, falls ill and dies suddenly, gone in a fever, leaving her clutching his tiny body, wandering the streets in raw, shattering grief. Please, she begs the healers, the elders, anyone who will listen, bring him back. There must be a way. Her world narrows to that impossible plea, her heart a storm of denial and despair. It's the kind of pain that keeps you up at night, replaying what ifs. What if I'd seen the signs sooner? What if the doctors had caught it? We've all held on too tight like that. To a child who's grown and moved across the country, leaving an echo in the empty rooms. To a partner who's passed after decades together, their chair still warm in memory. Or even to the strength of our younger selves, slipping away like sand through fingers as arthritis sets in or energy wanes. Word reaches the Buddha, and Kisa Gotamī stumbles to him, wild-eyed, demanding a cure. He looks at her with that deep compassion. Not pity, but the kind of understanding that says, I've walked this road too, and offers a task. I can help, but first, bring me a single mustard seed from a household untouched by death. Hope flickers in her chest like a candle in the wind. She runs from door to door, knocking on every home in the village, her voice cracking. A mustard seed, please, from a family where no one has died. But as she goes, the truth unfolds like dawn breaking over the hills. Every door opens to a story of its own. A grandmother lost to the slow fate of age, her stories silenced forever. A father taken by a heart that gave out too soon, leaving recipes half-written in a kitchen drawer. A sibling gone in a car accident on a rainy night, their laughter still hanging in the air like smoke. "Oh, child," they say gently, handing her the seat anyway. "We know that shadow all too well. It visits every home, sooner or later." By the time she returns to the Buddha, empty-handed but profoundly full-hearted, something has shifted deep within. She sees it now. Death isn't her curse alone, a cruel twist just for her. It's the river all lives flow into, the impermanence that touches every porch light, every family photo on the mantle. With his gentle guidance, she releases her son's body for burial, joins the community of seekers, and becomes one of the first ordained nuns, channeling her grief into a life of quiet service and mindfulness. From the Majjhima Nikaya, this isn't about forgetting loss or pretending it doesn't carve deep. It's about seeing it as part of the human weave, woven with threads of joy as well. For us, over 50, it whispers a hard but healing truth. Let go of the why me that keeps us stuck in the mud, replaying holidays without that familiar voice at the table. That empty nest after the kids flew the coop. It's not abandonment, it's the natural unfolding, space for new birds to sing. Maybe volunteering at the local library or taking that painting class you've eyed for years. The creaky knees that make the stairs a negotiation, or the fading memories that steal names from the tip of your tongue. They're not punishments. They're reminders to cherish the now. A slow walk with a grandchild, their tiny hand in yours, or a sunset shared with a friend over a porch swing, the colors painting stories in the sky. Kisa Gotamī teaches us that acceptance isn't surrender to defeat. It's the door to freedom, where grief softens into gratitude, like autumn leaves nourishing the soil for spring. The second pause, a reflection on letting go. The King's Mirror, aging and the beauty of impermanence. Now let's turn to the Samyutta Nikaya, the connected discourses, for a story from the Kosala Samyutta, the tale of King Pasenadi, a ruler whose life of power and privilege suddenly confronts the unyielding truth of age. It's a mirror for those mornings when we catch our reflection and see the map of years etched in, wondering where the time went. Picture Pasenadi as a king in his prime, strong, commanding, surrounded by advisors, feasts, and the hum of a thriving court, much like that vibrant professional we once were at the height of career and family, feeling invincible under the fluorescent lights of boardrooms or the chaos of soccer practices. But one day, as the years creep in like fog over a harbor, he notices the changes. The mirror shows lines where smoothness once was, etched from laughter and worry alike. His steps slow on the palace marble, echoing a bit too loudly. His once sharp mind wanders in council meetings, names and details slipping like keys from a pocket. Panic rises, not for the kingdom's borders, but for his own fading edges. Buddha, he seeks out the teacher in the cool shade of a monastery grove, voice laced with the fear we all know. Tell me, is there no escape from this decay? How can I hold on to my youth, my vitality, the vigor that made life feel endless? The Buddha, sitting under a sal tree with that steady, compassionate gaze, the kind that sees through crowns and wrinkles to the shared humanity beneath, doesn't sugarcoat it with promises of elixirs or denial. He shares the truth of impermanence, anicca, with gentle firmness. Great King, just as the moon wanes to a sliver and waxes full again, so do our bodies and minds ebb and flow. Youth fades like morning mist, beauty dims under the sun's honest light, strength ebbs like a river carrying leaves to the sea. But here's the gift hidden in the flow. In seeing this impermanence, we stop fighting it like a child against the tide. We live more fully, more kindly, in the precious now, savoring the warmth of a shared meal, the depth of a heartfelt conversation, the quiet pride in a life's work well done. He invites Pasenadi to reflect daily, not as a grim ritual, but as a loving reminder. I am of the nature to age, I cannot avoid aging. I am of the nature to sicken, I cannot avoid illness. I am of the nature to die, I cannot avoid death. These words from the Upajjhatthana Sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya aren't to breed despair, but to awaken appreciation for the fleeting beauty we hold. The king, humbled yet relieved, returns to his palace with a new resolve. He starts small, in the ordinary rhythms, cherishing meals with his queen without the distraction of scrolls or schemes, truly tasting the spiced rice and feeling the gratitude for her hand in his. Listening deeply to his children's laughter in the garden, not as a king demanding obedience, but as a father etching their voices into memory. Ruling with compassion rather than the iron grip of control, forgiving a minister's error with a word of understanding instead of rebuke. Age doesn't vanish, the aches come, the nights grow shorter, but its sting softens like frost under spring sun. He finds a deeper joy in the ordinary, the fleeting, a bird's song at dawn, the scent of rain on dry earth. In the end, Pasenadi becomes a devoted lay follower, his life a testament to living well amid change, his court echoing with a gentler wisdom. From the Samyutta Nikaya, this story hits home for our season of life, doesn't it? Over 50, we know the mirror's unflinching honesty. The retirement that brings the freedom of empty calendars, but also the solitude of quieter homes. The body that whispers slow down with every stiff joint or labored breath up the stairs. Pasenadi reminds us, impermanence isn't the thief we fear. Resistance to it is. Embrace it, like welcoming an old friend who's seen you through storms. Turn that routine doctor's visit into a chance to appreciate health's fragile gift, thanking your body for the miles it's carried you. Let the empty chair at Thanksgiving, where Dad used to carve the turkey with that crooked grin, become space for new memories, perhaps inviting a neighbor who's lost their way, or sharing stories with grandkids about the man who taught you to fish. As the Buddha said, there, whatever has the nature to arise, all that has the nature to pass away. It's a liberation, to age not with fear, clutching at the hems, but with grace, savoring the harvest of our years like the last sweetest apples on the tree. What one small change, a slower walk, a deeper breath, could you welcome today to honor this flow? The third pause, a reflection on impermanence. Let's pause here. Feel the air moving in and out. That's impermanence in motion, alive and gone in an instant. From the Nikāyas, try this. Name one thing that's changing in your life right now, and add, and that's okay. Let it settle, like leaves finding their place on the ground. The couple's grace, health, and the fruits of a good life. For our third tale, we turn to the Angulimāla Nikaya, the numerical discourses, in the story of Nakulapita and his wife, a devoted couple whose graceful handling of illness and old age offers a beacon for those mornings when the mirror shows not just lines, but the weight of a body that's carried us far. Envision Nakulapita and Nakulamata as a pair of householders in the village of Sumsumargiri, much like that steadfast couple in your neighborhood, the ones who've been married 40 years, still holding hands at the farmer's market, their steps measured but their eyes sparkling with shared history. They're in their later years now, the kind where winters feel longer and mornings start with a twinge in the back. Nakulapita falls gravely ill, racked with pain, his body a battlefield of fever and fatigue, the kind that keeps you awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if this is the chapter's end. His wife, Nakulamata, sits by his side, her hands steady on his, and speaks words that cut through the fear. Don't worry, my love, as you lie here suffering. We've lived well, with kindness, with honesty, without harm to others. The Buddha teaches that such a life bears fruit. Health, longevity, ease in our bodies, even as time wears on. Their son, Nakula, overhears and rushes to the Buddha, heart pounding. My father is dying, my mother speaks of peace. Is there truth in her words? The Buddha, with that profound reassuring calm, affirms it from the depths of the Dhamma. Yes, young man, for those who are established in virtue, who speak truth, live ethically, cultivate goodwill, their bodies remain healthy longer, their pains fewer, their lives fruitful even in frailty. Illness comes to all, but for the skillful, it's met with equanimity, not terror. Your parents have planted well, now they harvest peace. Nakulapita recovers enough to walk again, but more than that, the couple's bond deepens. They visit the Buddha together, sharing their story as a testament to living with integrity. In their later days, they become exemplars for the village, showing how a heart rooted in the precepts weathers the storms of age with dignity. From the Angulimāla Nikaya, AN 616, this story isn't a promise of immortality or endless vigor. It's a gentle nod to the idea that our choices, the small, daily ones, ripple into our physical and emotional ease. For us, in this season past 50, it speaks volumes. Those aches from years of lifting kids or hauling groceries, they're not random punishments, but invitations to reflect on how we've lived. Nakulapita and Nakulamata remind us to lean into virtue, a kind word to the cashier who's having a rough day, an honest conversation with a friend about that lingering hurt from decades ago, a moment of gratitude before meals for the hands that prepared them. In the shadow of health scares, like the one that sidelined my own husband for a spell a few years back, this tale offers solace. Cultivate goodness, and even when the body falters, the spirit holds steady. Perhaps today you might try their practice. At your next meal, pause and affirm, "May this nourish not just my body, but my heart's goodness." It's a seed for the harvest of peace, no matter the season. The fourth pause, a reflection on health and virtue. Breathe in the goodness you've sown, the honest words, the acts of care. Breathe out what weighs you. From the Nikāyas, consider, what one small virtue could you nurture today for tomorrow's ease? Let that intention root as we continue. The Bandit's Heart, Compassion's Power to Transform, our final tale from the Majjhima Nikaya in the Angulimāla Sutta, is one of raw redemption. The story of Angulimāla, a man whose darkness gives way to light through the Buddha's boundless compassion. It's a reminder that even in our later years, when regrets stack like autumn leaves, transformation is possible. Envision Angulimāla as a brilliant young scholar, led astray by a jealous rival's whisper into a life of terror, becoming a bandit who wears a necklace of victims' fingers as a grim tally, haunting the roads like a nightmare ripped from the evening news. His heart a fortress of rage and isolation. He's lost, consumed by delusion, far from the boy who once pored over scrolls under lantern light, dreaming of wisdom and legacy. One fateful day, the Buddha walks that very road alone, unarmed, his robes the color of dawn. Angulimāla, spotting him from the thicket, raises his sword with a roar, ready for his 1,000th kill, the air thick with the scent of dust and desperation. "Stop!" he bellows, veins bulging, eyes wild. The Buddha turns, serene as a still pond, and replies, "I have stopped, Angulimāla. It is you who must stop, from harm, from hatred, from this endless cycle of pain that binds you tighter than any chain." Stunned, the bandit freezes, sword trembling. The Buddha continues, his voice a balm. "Your violence doesn't end suffering. It plants seeds of more, sprouting in nightmares and empty dawns. But compassion can uproot them. See the fear in those you harm. It's your own fear reflected, the boy you buried under layers of anger. Choose now. Harm no more, and find the peace you've chased in shadows, the freedom that waits in a single courageous step." Angulimāla's sword clatters to the earth. Tears come, raw and real, washing away years of grime. He follows the Buddha to the monastery, ordains as a monk, and though haunted by villagers' stares and his own ghosts, lives a life of quiet atonement. He sweeps the paths, tends the gardens, teaches with a gentleness born of hard-won insight. Those who once fled him now seek his counsel, drawn to the light that pierced his darkness. In the Majjhima Nikaya, this isn't a fairy tale of instant forgiveness or erasure of scars. It's about compassion's radical power for others, and especially for ourselves. For us in later life, Angulimāla speaks directly to those regrets we carry like finger necklaces from old wounds, the harsh words shouted in a long-ago argument that still echo in family reunions, the opportunities missed in the rush of midlife that now feel like shadows at dusk, or the grudges against a sibling who chose a different path, leaving a rift wider than the years. Compassion isn't excusing the harm we caused or endured, it's choosing to stop the cycle, to lay down the sword of self-judgment. Forgive that sibling who drifted away after your parents passed, not for them alone, but for your heart's ease. Write that letter you've drafted a dozen times, or simply release the story in a quiet walk. Offer a listening ear to a neighbor's rant about their grown kids' choices, seeing their pain as your own once was, perhaps from the 90s when your own family navigated similar storms. The Buddha showed us true strength lies in metta, loving kindness that transforms even the hardest ground, turning barren fields into gardens of reconciliation. Even now, in our 50s and beyond, it's never too late to drop the sword. to say I stop here and step into the light of a kinder legacy. What old chain, what lingering hurt could you release today to lighten your step? The fifth pause, a reflection on compassion. Inhale compassion for yourself, the missteps, the growth. Exhale it to someone who's hurt you. From the Karaniya Metta Sutta in the Sutta Nipata, linked to Nikāyas. Repeat, just as a mother protects her child, so may I cultivate boundless heart for all. Feel it expand like sunlight through branches, carrying these stories forward. As these tales from the Nikāyas settle around us like evening mist, Kisa Gotamī's mustard seed teaching us to release our tightest grips, Pasenadi's mirror showing impermanence's unexpected grace, Nakulapita and Nakulamata's gentle wisdom on health as the fruit of virtue, and Angulimāla's sword reminding us of compassion's might to remake a life. What echoes in your own heart's quiet corners? These aren't distant fables from a far-off land. They're mirrors for our middle sense, our golden years, where wisdom blooms not from perfection, but from the rich soil of lived experience, the triumphs and tumbles, the loves and losses that have shaped us like rivers carving canyons. The Buddha in the Anguttara Nikaya urged us time and again, reflect on aging, illness, death, not to despair or dwell in shadows, but to awaken to the preciousness of now, to live with the skillful intention that bears sweet fruit. In the hush of your days, perhaps while gardening in the backyard, feeling the earth cool between your fingers as you plant bulbs for next spring, or rocking on the porch with a cup of chamomile, watching fireflies dance like old memories, or even during those long drives to visit scattered family, where the miles give space for the mind to wander, let these stories invite a gentle, ongoing practice. Sit for 5 minutes each morning, breathe, and whisper the reflections we've paused on. This too changes. May I meet it with kindness. What virtue shall I nurture today? What compassion can I extend? Share one with a friend over a Sunday brunch, or jot it in that journal gathering dust. See how it sparks their light or yours, like a match in the dark. Life's later chapters aren't endings, dear friends. They're invitations to live more deeply, more compassionately, to harvest the seeds we've sown, to forgive the weeds that grew unchecked, to walk lighter into whatever dawn comes next. If these stories have stirred something in you, drop a comment below. Which one resonates most with your path right now? Until next time, may your path be gentle, your heart open, and your days filled with the peace these ancient voices promise. Walk softly, live fully.